The oldest personal finance question in history is, where did my money go? The second oldest personal finance question is probably, should I rent or should I buy a property? No matter how many times people have tried to answer it, this question keeps coming up again and again. Well, clearly they're not doing a great job. Just kidding. So, I think it's time I throw my hat into the ring. As always on this channel, I try to give you a straight answer with no faffing around. So let's boil it down. If you're wondering whether it's better to rent or buy a property, you're essentially asking the wrong question. Or maybe you're not being specific enough. And also I think the word better is vague. Better how? Better from an independence perspective, stability perspective, peace of mind, or purely from a financial perspective? If it's the latter you're interested, then this video is exactly for you. But even from a financial perspective, I've seen many videos offering conflicting advice, and that's the reason why people are confused. Sometimes they get told to rent because ownership is too expensive, or sometimes they get told to buy because renting is basically money down the drain. So let's be clear here, there are no hard rules to this choice. It's all in the numbers and what you expect the future to look like. To illustrate this concept, let's take a simple example. Say your rent is £1,000 or $1,000 a month, and if you were to get a mortgage along with the maintenance and other expenses, it would cost you £1,500. This means that the mortgage is costing you an extra £500 a month, but it's money going towards your property. Not all of it, however. Remember, part of your mortgage payment is interest, and that part you'll never see again. It's gone. So your first consideration is how much more expensive is your mortgage compared to your rent. The more expensive your mortgage payments are relative to your rent, the less attractive buying will be. That's obvious, right? The second consideration is the cost you pay towards valuation, inspection, loan arrangement, which we'll refer to as transaction fees. That is the cost of buying and selling the property. These costs are unrecoverable or known as sunk costs, as you won't be able to get those back. The third consideration is the opportunity cost of money. That means what you could have done with the money instead. So when you bought the property, you pay down a deposit for the property along with the sunk costs mentioned above. Also remember, you pay more as your mortgage is more expensive than your rent. This means that all the extra money you spent under the home ownership route could have been used for something else, for example investing. And here's where it gets interesting, and it's important you understand this. That extra money you spent on a house could have been invested wisely and earn you high returns, which compounds over the long run. Okay, you can say houses appreciate too, and that's true, but the higher your investment growth rate is compared to that of your house, the more it's worth saving very early on and investing. And to save more means the cheaper option of renting, so you can have more to invest. Remember our example earlier? Renting costs $500 less than mortgage, and you can invest that $500 every single month. So now you know the theory behind when renting is sometimes better and when buying is better. And that's what financial advisors and their tools work out for you. They basically answer these questions by plugging in the numbers in a model which works out the returns under each scenario. It's all in the numbers and maths doesn't lie. With that in mind, I was about to go build a spreadsheet where you could plug in your numbers and it will spit out the results showing you which choice is financially better. However, why reinvent the wheel, as I'm sure someone has already done this, especially given it's the second most common personal finance question. With that said, I looked online and there are quite a few calculators you can pick from. So all you need to do is just fill it in, and sometimes you may not know what some of these costs are, like maintenance or valuation costs or loan arrangement fees. Not to worry, because there's usually a guidance on the value. For example, you can assume a maintenance of 1% of the house per annum. Now unfortunately, while there are a few such calculators to pick from, I couldn't find many for the UK context, and the one I did find on fruitfulmoney.co.uk, which seemed really nice at first, was not up to the job. I like the layout and ease of use, but unfortunately there are some bugs in the calculator, and I'm not sure where they come from. For example, using the default properties, you can enter on a sliding scale the level of interest on your savings, inflation, or even shared ownership share. However, when you scroll down to the results, something's gone wrong, as a £423 per month rent over 35 years shows us a total of 11 million instead of 177,000. Excluding inflation adjustments. Same with the property value. A £205,000 property with a 3% appreciation rate will end up with a value of roughly £576,000, not 7 million, as much as I personally would want to. Anyway, I've informed the author and hopefully we'll be able to use it soon. There are quite a few tools for the US market, however I like this one in particular. I've just entered some values and here's something I found quite interesting. Look at the maintenance rate at 1%. At this value, buying is cheaper than renting. Now if I change this to 1.5%, with everything else remaining the same, guess what? Renting is cheaper. So when it comes to renting versus buying a property, now you know when and why one option is better than the other. But in this video, we've only looked at the financial aspect of this debate. Are there other reasons you might prefer one over the other? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my video, you know what to do. As always, thank you for watching.